Everybody. I hope everybody is amazing. I am running this show solo today, right here from the office, because Amy is on her laptop helping me out, but Kevin is not here today, so it's just me. But it's an honor to be here with you. This is Coffee is for Closers, a live show that happens normally every Tuesday at 2 p.m. So, just a refresher on what this is. Again, this is Coffee is for Closers, a live show. I am Michelle, aka the Pitch Queen, and I am here to help you and discuss all things sales. So, as it relates to sales in your business, especially for those of you selling something between the price of $3,000 and $10,000. Or maybe lately you're like some of the people I've been working with one-on-one that they're selling things between $60,000 and $70,000. Gets a little bit trickier. But again, it's all about providing value, helping your clients, and I am here to help you come over all these different things that happen as it relates to sales. There's so many different topics. So today's topic is taking risks in sales in your business. And how taking risks, yes, it is a tongue twister, Jeff. How taking risks in your business can really help you out, actually. So that is the topic for today. If you want the slides that I have, just type in show in the comments below. If you're on Facebook, you're going to actually get to see my screen. So feel free to like, comment, and share this on your pages and share it with your friends. I love thumbs up. I love hearts. I love sharing to get this out to the masses so people can learn and, get help as it relates to taking risks. These are what the slides look like. So if you guys on Instagram want them, just type in show in the notes below. Again, type in show in the notes below. That's another tongue twister, I think. So the signature recipe for today, for everybody watching, let me just go over to my screen on Facebook. That is not my screen. We are recording that in GarageBand. So the signature recipe for today is the 5 hot tips as it relates to taking risks when it relates to sales in your businesses. Also giving it a caramel shot. How do you sweeten it up? Hot tips on calculated risk, cup of wisdom, and energy for the soul. So that is what we're talking about today. And if you have questions, please put them in the comments below. If you don't have any questions, please put them in the comments below too. And if you want the slides, just type in show in the notes below. Notes, comments, man, I am tired, you guys. I am not going to lie. Woo! Yesterday flying across the country, that will really make you exhausted. Even sitting like first class with like grass-fed beef burgers. I mean, I am telling you, flying across the country is no joke. And being like on East Coast time for a week and then coming back to West Coast, that is why we were not live yesterday, but we are live right now for you. But yeah, flying, I'm like sort of delirious right now. So keep me here, keep me with you, and we're going to get into all this because this is actually a really great topic. I think a lot of people sell themselves short, sell themselves short, because you don't take a lot of risks. And there's ways to do risks in a good way, and then there's risks that are maybe not so good. So let's go into what is a risk and then what is a calculated risk, because there's actually a difference. So let's go over the definition of a risk. And the risk is the probability or threat of damage, injury, liability, loss, or any other negative occurrence that is caused by external or internal vulnerabilities that may be avoided through preemptive action. Okay, thank you so much, dictionary.com. Now let's go over what a calculated risk is. A chance of exposure to loss or injury that might be undertaken, now keyword here, pay attention, after its advantages and disadvantages have been carefully weighed and considered. I also call this intelligent risk. So think about intelligent risk and how you can actually think through the risk that you're about to take, maybe the pros and some of the cons, okay? I just want to go into the next slide, and then I'm going to share a little story with you. So I love this. Do you guys know who Melissa is? She's the CEO at Yahoo. If you push through that feeling of being scared, that feeling of taking risks, the really amazing things then start to happen. I couldn't agree more. If you're taking calculated risk, okay, calculated risk, right? AKA intelligent risk, then amazing things do happen. Again, this is Coffee is for Closers, so if you need a coffee or water, grab some. I would like to know from you guys, do you agree that once you get past the scary point and you start taking intelligent, calculated risks, that amazing things happen? I would love to know what has happened to some of you guys. So if you can put them in the comments below, I want to know. I don't see any comments yet. Beef burgers. Yeah. On the flight on Virgin first class, they had grass-fed beef burgers. Grass-fed, that is. Not just beef burgers. That's probably normal. But they were grass-fed. I was like, dang. And Dean and DeLuca chocolates and snacks. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I watched like 3 movies on a 6-hour flight. It was awesome. Anyway, put in the comments. Do you guys agree? What do you think? What do you think? Share. Tell me. Because I want to know what kind of risks you all have been taking. I want to know what kind of risks, because I'm going to talk about the risks that I took and how I got to where I am today, because I really truly believe that without taking risks, we can't get to those goals and dreams that we have. I believe that the people that take risks, so I'm going to talk about my friend Sean, because I always talk about Sean. But Sean takes risks, but they are so calculated, meticulously calculated, and he does a lot. And we're going to do a podcast episode for Success Unfiltered, okay? However, Sean's unique in the fact that he has never been told no and he's never been rejected, okay? However, Sean has definitely taken big risks. What I think is that Sean has taken extremely calculated risks and intelligent risks. So he actually goes and figures out exactly what people need and want, and then he figures it out on the back end, and then he delivers on what people asked for. So he does it like the really, really smart way, but then there's some people like us that don't really think it through all the way. Then we deal with the no's, we deal with the rejections and other things that pop up, okay? So let's go into now the 5 hot tips about taking risks. So there are some really good things that come from taking calculated risks. So risk can be calculated. Take risks that it's quite different from being rash. General George Patton said that. You never know if you don't try, and don't live a what-if life. Okay, I want to stop it there because I completely agree. You've got to try. You've got to take calculated risks. And what if you always lived in the what if? And I like to relate it to sales. If you don't ask your client to enroll with you in a program, let's say you have a program, it's $10,000, right? $10,000. It's very similar that if you ask them to enroll, you have a 50-50 chance that you're going to have a new client. But if you're like, I didn't say anything, I didn't want to say anything, you did not take the risk to ask, then you're living in the what if. Like, what if? I wonder what if I said, hey, do you want to join my program? I know you could be a good fit. You never know. And I had this happen to me today. Okay, I did a call, and the woman, she'd been thinking about our program for a really long time. We finally got on the phone, and, I knew she didn't make a lot of money, but I was like, if I don't ask, I'll never know. I know we can totally help her, but I'm just not sure if she's going to be able to, afford it or come up with the funds. Sometimes if you don't have the money, you have to really jump through hoops to do this, right? And if you're making a certain amount of money every year, typically you're in that pattern for a reason. But I was like, what if this new client actually says yes and she makes it happen and she goes and finds like $6,000, $8,000 for the course? And I was like, what if? I don't know. But if I don't ask, then I don't know. So I took some calculated risk thoughts. Of course, there's different levels of calculated risk, but I really thought about it. I was like, I don't really want to embarrass her. And, all these things that you start thinking in your head pop up. But I didn't want to live with the what if for her. And I knew that honestly we could really help her. But unfortunately, it ended up in that she needs to go think about it. And I don't think her story of life is ever going to change, I had an uncle too. And I'll share this story with you because it's the risk of, going to the gym and working out. I mean, he was really obese. He died a couple years ago. And, to get someone to change is a very difficult thing, and he was never able to lose any weight, and so he passed away because he was so obese. And I tried everything. I took a lot of calculated risks on, hey, maybe there's places you can go, like rehab centers. I had a healthy food company at the time, and it just, it wasn't working out. So my point is that you want to take risks and intelligent risks, and asking people if it's clients, what risk can you take in your business as it relates to sales? That's something to think about. Maybe there's something that you've been pondering in your head for so long and you haven't done anything about it. Risks distinguish leaders from the followers. Oh, I love this. Risks will also help you stand out from competitors. Taking risks shows confidence and helps you stand out. It truly does. The people that don't take risks, someone is pinging me. Hold on a second. Let me go back to my full screen here. Denise, hi. Calculating risks is what I live by. That's awesome, Tim. Denise and Tim, if you can share. Who's over there on Instagram? We're taking a break. Yes, because without no risk, there's no gain. How do you define intelligent risk versus standard risk? Oh, Sean, I just talked about you, Sean. Perfect timing. So Sean, who just joined on Instagram, takes calculated risk. Intelligent risk versus standard risk. Jeff asked, what's the difference? I would say standard risk is just the risk that we take without even thinking about it. Intelligent risk is something that you've thought about for quite a while, and you've thought about the pros and the cons and the different outcomes that could happen and what might be possible. Like, what are some of the possibilities of this outcome if I do X, and what are some of the possibilities if I do Y, or what are some of them at all if I don't do anything, right? So Sean takes intelligent risks at all time. I would say I take a lot of risk and don't even think about it. Call it standard risk or whatever you want to call it. So on to the next slide. If you guys want the slides, please type in show in the comments below, and you will get the slides from today if it helps you out. Also, for real? Yes, Sean, for real. I think you take, yep, he said yep. You take intelligent risks all the time. I would say I take a ton of risks that I don't even think through. So, especially as it relates to sales, it could benefit me in a lot of ways because I don't think through a lot of things sometimes. But in other terms, it could actually hurt you too. But, Sean's never been told no. He's never been rejected. And we're going to talk about all this on the podcast. So make sure to tune in to Success Unfiltered on iTunes. And if you want to leave an amazing review because you love it so much, that would be fabulous. So, okay, back to the show, okay? But keep putting your comments and we will get back to this in just uno momento. Uno momento. Okay, I got to stand up to see the comments. It's kind of, the level of it is weird. It's weird. I like when people live by calculated risks. All right, so without risk, there is no innovation, okay? And who agrees with that? Without innovation, so here's an example of without risk, right? A new service launching in your business is a risk that could lead to great innovation, right? Like Sean just launched a new service, Money Mind Academy. I think that's what it's called, Money Mind Academy. I'm in it. I need to go listen to the replay, but he's taking a very calculated risk. He has listened to his listeners probably for over a year about their relationship to money, right? And because of his calculated risk, he was able to fill the seats. I'm sure he had 100 or 200 people in class yesterday. But without risk, there's no innovation. But he took a risk and said, but he took calculated risk. He took intelligent risk. And that's the point I'm getting at, is that your results are so great and so large when you take calculated risks. And, he had a full class. I was on the little Facebook group all night last night when I was on the plane. And people are learning, but he listened for a whole year that people want to make more money. They don't know how to save money. They're working all the time and they don't feel like they're getting out of their rut. Yeah, that was me up until like 6 months ago. I get it. So Sean launched a new service, exactly what we're discussing today, which led to great innovation of a brand new program. And he's able to help, I think, 200 people. That's pretty awesome. And I love this by T.S. Eliot. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far it is possible to go, right? Like if you're going to go and really put yourself out there, like you might as well go all out, right? Like if you're going to go walk on a tightrope across the Niagara Falls, you might as well start and go all the way across and go like 25% and then head back 25%. Okay, also with risk, it's a chance to learn. We learn from risks, and those lessons may lead us to, let me start over. We learn from risks, and those lessons may lead us on an important new path. I'm going to use Sean again because he's here right now joining us all the way on Instagram Live and everybody on Facebook Live. I mean, I'm just going to talk about it because he's like the king of taking intelligent risks. So what a great day to show up and be here because I'm talking about you again all day. But we learn from risks, and those lessons lead us to a new path. So his taking risk has led him to a new path of helping people make more money, save more money, and create long-term wealth. That's pretty awesome, right? And I mean, I don't have time to read a lot of books, and I'm sure a lot of you don't have a lot of time to read a lot of books at times. So why not get it from people like Sean who read like 10 books a week because that's what they love to do every day. I'll just listen to his podcast and his courses, and then I'm set. And J.K. Rowling said this, "It is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live cautiously that you might as well have not lived at all." That's my tightrope analogy. Tightrope. That's all I got to say. Tightrope. All right. On to the next. So let's talk about how to give it calculated risk, right? Someone asked earlier, like, what is the difference between calculated risk and intelligent risk or just standard risk? So let's have a discussion on this real quick because the caramel shot is how to sweeten it up. So when you sweeten it up, there's ways to make the calculated risk even easier. Not easier, but you're more likely to understand the outcome that's going to happen. Because all risks are not created equal, right? They're not. I mean, I took a risk of, if you get in a car, you're taking one risk. If you get in a car with like a Lyft driver, you're taking another risk. If you get in a car with a black SUV TCP, you're taking another risk, right? Like this Lyft driver who got a DUI a couple weeks ago, smashed my car. The risk getting in a car with him versus the risk getting in a car with a legit black car driver, they've got the TCP on the back, that's a calculated risk. I can pretty much guarantee that if I got in an accident, the one in the SUV Suburban versus the one in the little mini Hyundai are going to be very, very different. But let's talk about it as it relates to sales in your businesses. Because Sean took calculated risk the other day when he launched his new Money Mind Academy course. But he listened to his customers for over a year talk about how they wanted to make more money, create long-term wealth. They couldn't save any money, and they were sick of, when you go to work, you get your paycheck, and then it's gone in 2 weeks. Has that ever happened to you guys? But how do you create long-term wealth? So he listened to him for a whole year, and he created this long-term success of calculated risk because he keeps listening to his customers for a whole year. A lot of times people launch different products and services, and nobody wants them. And when that means that you're not doing a good job listening, or maybe the calculated risk and other things are not in alignment. So all risks are not created equal. There are big differences between foolish risk and calculated risk. And the key is to learn how to decipher one from the other. So we're going to talk about that. How do you decipher one from the other? So foolish risk. Unrealistic probability. Oh, here, let me show you my slides for you guys on Facebook. What's the latest comments on Instagram? Nadar, hope all is well. Sean, listen to your prospective customers. They will tell you what they want. Heck yeah, they will. They told you what you wanted. All right, what's going on Facebook? Denise, Tim. Thanks, guys. Hi, Etta. Yeah, if you guys can share, if you're on Facebook, hit the share button so it spreads. We want it to spread. Tim, Etta, thumbs up. If you want reminders, type in show in the comments below too. You guys got your coffee, water. This is coffee is for closers, but it's kind of a late one today. All right. What is the difference between foolish risk and calculated risk? So foolish risk, unrealistic probability of failures and no's, right? Very bad consequences, and you're not able to handle the consequences. That would be foolish risk. I think I've personally done that a couple times. Now, tips on taking calculated risks. You do a lot of research and you know your ideal clients. Or as Sean Croxton says, just listen to your customers and they're going to tell you what they want. So you just need to take the time to listen and see what they want. Anticipate objections. I love that one because there's a lot of, when you're taking calculated risks, you can actually anticipate the objections that are going to be coming your way. We'll go over that in 1 second. And be ready and willing to pivot your pitch. That's important too, because sometimes your pitch or your offer might need a tweak. Maybe how you pitched it in the beginning isn't really what people want. You never know, right? And that's why I'm here. I would love to know what you guys would love to learn as it relates to sales and selling your high ticket offers. If it's between $3,000 and $10,000 and you're out there pitching and doing everything, maybe you need to make a pivot. Maybe there's something that you need help with. Put in the comments below because next week we are doing some live coaching. Yes, I'm not sure how it's going to happen, but we're going to do it after Coffee is for Closers. Coffee is for Closers is at 2:00 next Tuesday. That's our normal time. And then right after that, I'm going to do a live 30-minute coaching with Bilal, who is looking for some help. So if you're looking for some help, I am going to start doing some live coaching maybe once a month. So shoot me an email at hello@thepitchqueen.com. My email again is hello@thepitchqueen.com. So I want to talk and share a story about taking calculated risks. So knowing the objections, okay? So I've been doing a lot of work with CPAs, certified public accountants, okay? They're geniuses. They're brilliant. They are your most trusted advisor. And a lot of them do some really, really high level tax planning for very, very high net worth individuals and for complicated businesses, multiple business entities, and other really cool things. So I've been working a lot with them. And what we've been doing is anticipating the objections ahead of time. So what are the top 5 questions that you think your client might ask you? That is called calculated risk. We're thinking about the objections ahead of time, so when we have them, we've thought them through, we've thought about what the customer or client might be thinking, and how can we help them understand where we're coming from. If you guys are working with your clients, right, like Sean and his Money Mind Academy, he probably thought through 5 to 10 different questions that people might ask him. Like, well, what am I going to get out of it? Are you going to guarantee anything? How much does it cost? Well, gosh, that's so expensive. And you can come up with different answers for all of the top questions that you think they might ask. So like for what we do, a lot of clients ask, well, is this legal? Can you defend this in front of the IRS? Well, how come you didn't know this before? How come you didn't know this 10 years ago? And CPAs, I mean, unless you've got time to read 7,000 pages in the tax code, it's kind of difficult. So that's why, right? So those are some hot tips on how you can take calculated risks. Okay, if you guys have water, drink up. Uh-oh, got water on the mic. If you have a question, put them in the comments below. What type of risks is lowering your rates for your clients? I don't understand your question. What type of risk is lowering your rates for your clients? Oh, I get your question. I would never lower your rates for your clients. If anything, you want to increase the rates for your clients, because when you increase the rates for your clients, it shows your worth, your value, your credibility, and sets you apart from all the other people. And if I recall, you do video. So to set yourself up at that upper tier, do you want to be the Nordstroms of video services, or do you want to be the TJ Maxx? You've got to choose which level playing field do you want. Do you want a lot of quality clients? Top quality is what I go for. Or do you want to have a lot of lower end clients and more volume? Is it foolish risk or calculated? I wouldn't say that. I would just say that lowering your rates for any client, you need to be able to, I would want to know why. Like, why would you want to lower your rates for your clients? That's really what this is about. Like, why would you want to lower your rates if you have a premium service and have high standards and value? The second you lower it, you're giving in and you've lost credibility with your client, and now they're going to expect cheaper rates. So I do a lot of that with like the CPAs. I mean, you know, everyone compares them to like H&R Block. These guys are not H&R Block. These people did not go to 4 years of undergrad accounting, go through a 3-part or something CPA exam, have years of experience, 7,000 pages in the tax code. They should get paid a lot of money because they are the most trusted advisor and they save us a ton of money in tax. So, yeah, that's my take on that. Alrighty, back to the slides and back to what we're talking about today. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments down below. I love it that you guys are loving, hearting, sharing with the world everything we've got going on today. This is way more entertaining with you all here than me by myself. So, but I love this topic because taking risks is really where it's at. I mean, you've got to really take risks if you want to get to places that you've never been before, right? Like, you know, getting on an airplane for the first time. It's kind of risky. If you haven't ever been on one, they can freak some people out. And if you don't take risks, you will always work for someone who does. So again, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners that are selling a high value, high price service between $3,000 and $10,000. Now, if you don't take risks and even start your business, then you probably have a job. And if you have a job, that's totally okay because you can kind of create your entrepreneurial spirit within even a job. But as Nora Denzel, the interim CEO of Outerwall, and I love this quote because it's so true. If you don't take risks, you'll always work for someone who does. So do you want to be a risk taker and create innovation? Or do you want to work for someone who takes a ton of risks? And one person who takes a ton of risks that I want you guys to make sure you listen to because he is amazing. His name is Anthony Trucks, and he was playing in the NFL for quite a while. He's in the fitness space now. And if you go to episode number 15 of Success Unfiltered, I will put the link in the comments below so you guys can go check it out. That is the podcast every Wednesday episode. Anthony Trucks talks about how he took big risks to help grow his business. And when I talk big, I'm talking so big that his bank account went down to negative and $20 multiple times big. Anthony Trucks gets very real. It's about 30 minutes. You can listen to it in the car, at the gym, at the office, whatever you want. But it's really good. So, Success Unfiltered, episode number 15, which is the Wednesday episode. So check it out. Was that it for today? I guess that's it for today. Wow, that went like really quick. So, all right, let's go to the questions and the conversations. If you lower your rates to gain more clients, then it's calculated. It's just doing it to do it, then it's just normal risk. Yes, and Jannard, this one's for you. Where are you? Let me see if I can see you. We'll get into the conversation of things now. Jannard, so if you lower your rates just to lower your rates, that's one thing. That's just taking a risk. But if you've calculated it through, that means you thought it out. And if you're I'm not a fan of lowering rates for a client. Unless you want to be in that ballpark all the time. But if you're just trying to get clients just to get clients, then I don't really recommend that. Okay, you're still here. Cool. It's foolish risk no. Foolish risk is where you don't think about anything. You're just like off the wall, like just doing things. But calculated risk is where you thought through what's going to happen. What if I lower my rates? Will I lose some clients? I like to go through it like people like this. Like these tax plans. They're really expensive. It's not cheap, but it saves people a ton of money. Now, these guys are taking, and ladies, serious calculated risks with their clients. And the reason why is because A, this is a very pricey engagement. Number two, if they don't go through with the engagement, then it's best that they don't even do tax returns and compliance work for these clients. So these people are taking a calculated risk that they might actually lose their client. Now, do you want to lose your client to create an opportunity for multiple new clients that will pay you what you want? I don't think that lowering your rates solves your ultimate end goal. But you need to tell me what your ultimate end goal is to see where it ends up. But just to lower rates, just to get a new client, unless you've thought through everything, then I don't think that's the best approach. Okay, so if you have another comment or question, put it down below. Let's see on Instagram. Anybody there? Question? No, we're pretty good there. Etta, I had to learn the hard way. Don't lower your rates. Oh, yeah. I agree with Etta all day long. I would not lower them unless you want to just be like a price shopper and deal with the people that finagle. But you know what? I talk to a lot of people all day long. Let me just share with you a little bit of what I've learned. And what I've learned is that when you start making deals, I call it deal making. I love a good deal. Trust me. I am all about a good deal. But I also am all about really good value and really good quality. I didn't go to the Gucci store and try to make a deal with them on a bag I wanted, right? Or I didn't go buy the most expensive plane ticket to make a deal on a plane ticket. Now, when I rent a car, I get a deal because I go to those sites where they have excess inventory and you get a luxury vehicle at the price of like a 2-seater little car. But that's because I'm finding a deal. But when it comes to working with clients, like Etta said, you just don't want to do that. The second you give in, you're done. You lose your credibility, you lose your value, you lose your worth. You've got to keep your standards high, and you need to know who your ideal client is and what you're willing to put out there for them. And stand by it. Here's another example. I had a call today with a guy, and he kind of forgot what our prices were. And he's like, well, if you don't give me a discount, then I'm not doing this. Okay. He hung up on me. That's totally cool. If he doesn't see the value at the price, he's not a good client. And when you can just turn away the clients and let them loose, you're going to get the good ones to pop up for you. They just start to show up all over the place. Okay, Jannard, good. Because you do film, and I talked about this with Kevin, my film guy. Same conversation. You got to think about it. If you just take a client, you start wheeling and dealing with everybody, you're not setting your standards. So what I say, Jannard, what you can do tonight is set boundaries. Here are my rates. Here's who I'm going to work with. Here's who I'm not going to work with. And if they don't fit into that mold, you got to let them loose, because otherwise the opportunities for the clients you really want to work with, you're not going to be able to see them. Because you know what? We all spend, I don't do this anymore, but I'm sure maybe you all can feel and relate to this. But you spend time, the clients that drive you crazy, they demand a lot of your time, they're a pain in your butt, they call you a ton, they email you all the time. They're usually the cheapest ones, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. What if you spent the same amount of time with someone that paid you 10 times that amount? So, Jannard, let's say you charge $100 an hour. What if you charge $1,000 an hour and spent your time with 2 clients versus with 20 that paid you the lower amount? Guess how much value you could give to the 2? So much more value, so much more fun, no problems. If they call you 100 times, it doesn't matter, because they paid you what you were worth. And that you got your appreciated too, right? It is amazing, and you can do it. But it all starts with you. You've got to set the boundaries. You've got to set the standards. You've got to say no to people. Jannard, I'm going to put a link down below, or maybe Amy can help me, on how to tell clients and turn them away and, say, you know what? I really want to work with you, but unfortunately, we're just not a good fit. So how to gracefully tell your clients no. I think you need to see that, read it, and implement some of it, because I think it'll be totally helpful for you. So I'll put that link in there. If you guys want it, just type in show in the comments below. Again, show in the comments below. And you'll get how to gracefully let clients go or say no to them, whatever you want to call it. Okay? All right, that's all I have. If there's any more questions, okay, cool. If you guys have any more questions, please put them in the comments below. I'll comment on them later. I am very tired. I am going to sign off, but next week, I want to let you know, next week is a hot topic about a sales team. So if you need help in getting a team put in place, tune in right here on Coffee is for Closers. So I am Michelle, aka the Pitch Queen, signing off. And if there's any other topics that you guys want to hear about, listen about, just type them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Again, if you can share this on your pages, hit the share button. It'll spread the wings. It'll spread the wings to other people that might really want to pay attention and listen to some of this, because it's really fun stuff. And it was an honor to be here with you. And thank you again for joining me here on Coffee is for Closers. Remember, next week and every week for right now, unless Amy and I change it, is Tuesdays at 2 o'clock Pacific for the live interactive show right here. And also today, since it's Wednesday, there's also a podcast on Success Unfiltered that just went live today. It's with Larry Marcus. He is an investor that was going to invest in my last company and then told me no. It's a good one. You should go check it out. Have a great night, you guys. Thanks for being here.